All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're going to be focusing on road markers.
Road markers. Yep.
And we've actually got a really interesting set of questions today from someone who's preparing for a job interview.
Oh, cool.
And we've also got, of course, the RoleCatcher Career Guide to help kind of put this all in context.
Awesome.
So to get started, how about you give us just like a super quick, road marker 101, like what exactly do these folks do?
Yeah, for sure. So road markers, they're the ones out there, making sure our roads are safe and organized. Think about lane dividers, crosswalks,
Oh, yeah.
all those reflective things, cat's eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all thanks to road markers. They're the ones that keep us on track.
Okay, so that's a good overview. Now let's dive into these interview questions because I think that's what our listeners are really here for.
Definitely.
So first up, this is a classic, right? Can you tell us about your experience with road marking? So I imagine, what are they really trying to get at with this question?
Well, they're trying to gauge your experience level, obviously,
Right.
whether you've actually done this type of work before, what kind of projects you've worked on, maybe even any relevant coursework you've taken.
So what if our listener here, what if they haven't actually held like the official title of road marker before? Like, what do they do?
That's when you got to focus on those transferable skills.
Oh, okay.
Think about any jobs you've had where you worked outdoors, maybe used tools or machinery, followed precise instructions, anything that shows you can handle those core aspects of road marking.
Yeah, I'm thinking, wouldn't RoleCatcher's AI be super helpful here?
Oh, totally. You could plug in the job description and it'll highlight any skills you might be missing.
Oh, that's smart. Okay, so let's move on to the next question because this one's a bit more specific. It's how do you ensure accuracy when marking roads?
Accuracy is key for sure. One little mistake and, things could go wrong.
Yeah, that's high stakes.
Definitely high stakes. So they want to know you understand that you're meticulous and you have a system for avoiding errors.
So how would you approach answering this one?
I'd talk about my process for double checking measurements, using tools like laser levels, to be super precise, and also my commitment to following guidelines and established procedures.
And the career guide actually mentions that road markers often work solo, especially on those smaller projects. So showing that you can self-manage, maintain accuracy without someone looking over your shoulder all the time, that's important.
Absolutely. Got to prove you're reliable and deliver high quality work.
All right, let's keep this train rolling with another question. This one is about dealing with the unexpected. So the question is, how do you handle unexpected changes to a road marking project? Because, I mean, things happen, right?
Oh, all the time, especially when you're working outdoors. The weather, equipment malfunctions, who knows what can pop up.
So we want someone adaptable.
Exactly. Someone who can think on their feet, find solutions, and not freak out when things go sideways.
What kind of example should someone use for this?
Think about a time when you had to adjust to a sudden change, even if it wasn't a road marking situation.
Okay.
Maybe a project took longer than expected, or you had to switch gears because of something unexpected.
Right, right.
Describe the situation, how you reacted, the steps you took, and the positive outcome.
And this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI interview practice would be amazing. You could actually record yourself answering the question and get feedback, like instantly.
Oh, yeah, it's like having your own interview coach right there in your pocket.
Okay, next question. How do you prioritize tasks when working on multiple road marking projects at once? Time management, super important.
Absolutely, especially in this field, deadlines are tight and safety is paramount.
Yeah.
So they want to know you can juggle multiple things without compromising on quality.
How can someone show off those prioritization skills, though?
Well, it's about having a system.
Well,
Explain how you assess deadlines, break down tasks, maybe use tools like to-do lists or calendars.
mm,
If you've used any project management apps, mention that too. Shows you're proactive and organized.
and the career guide mentions, as road markers gain experience, they often take on more responsibilities,
Mhm.
like coordinating with other teams.
Oh, right.
So highlighting those collaborative experiences is a plus, even if you haven't formally managed a team before.
Yeah, absolutely. Show you can work with others effectively.
Okay, let's get a little technical now. This question is, can you explain the difference between thermoplastic and paint road markings? This one might seem tricky if you're new to the field.
It is a bit technical, but it's really about showing you've done your homework.
Yeah, okay.
So thermoplastic, it's like this durable, preformed material that gets melted onto the road.
Okay.
It lasts longer, better visibility, especially when it's wet. Paint is more traditional, cheaper, but not as durable, especially in high traffic areas.
So just explaining those key differences and maybe mentioning factors that might influence the choice of one over the other, that's a good approach.
Yeah, and if you really want to impress them, you could even mention specific types of thermoplastic or paint, their composition, or even any new trends in road marking materials.
Oh, that's a good idea. All right, moving on. Can you describe your experience with using road marking equipment?
Now, you might not have used a professional road marking machine, right?
Right.
But that's fine. Focus on transferable skills. Have you used any other machinery? Maybe a lawnmower, forklift, even power tools?
Yeah, make those connections.
Talk about following safety procedures, understanding basic mechanics, troubleshooting and operating with precision. They want to see you're comfortable with handling equipment and that safety is your top priority.
Okay, good point. Now, this next question is about teamwork. Can you give an example of a time when you had to communicate with other team members to ensure a successful road marking project?
Communication is key in any job, but especially in this field. You're working with a crew, contractors, traffic control. Everyone needs to be on the same page.
What kind of example would you recommend for this one?
Choose a situation where communication was key to overcoming a hurdle, maybe clarifying instructions or resolving a disagreement.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be from a road marking job specifically. What matters is showing your ability to listen, communicate clearly, and work collaboratively.
And this is another spot where RoleCatcher's AI could help, right?
Uh-huh.
Analyze your response, give you feedback on your communication style.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It can help you refine your message and boost your confidence.
All right, let's tackle another process-oriented question. Can you explain the process you follow when marking a new road? So this is about showing you understand the step-by-step approach from planning to execution.
Right. They want to see that you know the sequence, the safety protocols, and your ability to follow guidelines.
What are some key points to hit here?
Start with safety, following regulations. Then talk about assessing the site, traffic flow, road type, visibility. Then preparing the surface, making sure it's clean and free of debris.
And then the actual marking, using the right equipment, correct markings, consistent spacing and alignment.
Exactly. And emphasize safety throughout, using cones, signage, wearing high-vis clothing, keeping a safe distance from traffic.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help tailor your answer to the specific job. For example, if the description mentions working at night, you'd want to highlight your experience with nighttime procedures and protocols.
Right. Good point. Tailor it to the specific needs of the job.
Okay, this next one is huge EE in this line of work. How do you ensure safety when working on a road marking project? Because safety is paramount, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about knowing the rules. It's about showing you're proactive, always assessing risks, committed to a safe environment for everyone.
So how can someone really nail this answer?
Start by highlighting the hazards of the job, moving traffic, equipment, materials, you name it. Then discuss the safety protocols you follow, like high-vis clothing, signage, barriers, inspecting equipment, keeping a safe distance from vehicles. Mention any safety training or certifications you have.
Yeah, that shows you're serious about it.
And RoleCatcher's AI can point out specific safety requirements mentioned in the job description.
Right, so if the job involves high traffic areas, emphasize your experience with traffic control procedures, staying focused in challenging environments.
That's the key. Tailor your responses.
Okay, last question for this section. Can you explain your experience with managing a team of road markers? Now, this might not apply to all entry-level positions,
True.
but it's good to be prepared.
Absolutely. Even if you haven't formally managed a team, think about experiences where you took initiative, coordinated tasks, motivated others. Could be from a group project, volunteering, even a part-time job.
So what would a strong answer sound like?
Focus on your communication style, delegating tasks, conflict resolution, creating a positive work environment. Even without a formal title, you can still demonstrate leadership qualities.
Yeah, and showing enthusiasm for developing those skills further, that's always a plus.
Right. Show them you're ambitious and ready to grow.
And again, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze those job descriptions and highlight leadership skills that are valued in the role, so you can tailor your answer accordingly.
Exactly. Present yourself as a well-rounded candidate, skilled and eager to learn.
Wow, we really flew through those interview questions. I mean, it's amazing how much insight you can get from just a few carefully crafted questions.
Right.
But now I think it's time to step back a little bit, look at the bigger picture of a road marker career. I'm curious, what does the RoleCatcher Career Guide have to say about that?
I'm happy to share some insights. Let's explore the career path itself. Yeah, so thinking about a career as a road marker, beyond just that interview, let's see what the RoleCatcher Career Guide has to offer.
Yeah, I'm always curious what these guides say, about the outlook for someone just starting out.
Right. Well, the good news is the job market for road markers, it's pretty stable.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Roads are always being built, repaired, maintained.
That's true.
So they always need people to keep those markings clear and accurate.
Yeah, makes sense. It's one of those jobs that, you don't really think about until it's not there.
Exactly, but it's essential.
So what kind of career progression can someone expect? Like, where do you start and where can you go?
Well, the guide outlines a pretty typical path, starting with entry-level positions like assistants or apprentices.
Oh, oh,
So you'd be working with more experienced road markers, learning the ropes, mastering those techniques, getting familiar with the equipment.
hands-on experience, that's always valuable.
Totally. Builds a solid foundation.
So what comes after that? Like once you've got some experience under your belt.
Well, as you prove your skills, you can move up to more independent roles, operating machinery on your own, maybe even leading smaller projects.
Okay.
And eventually, down the line, you could become a team leader, overseeing a crew, coordinating those larger scale projects.
Oh, wow. So there's room to grow.
Definitely. Room for growth and specialization.
Now, the guide also mentions some pros and cons of being a road marker. Let's start with the good stuff. What are some of the perks?
Well, a lot of people are drawn to this job because it's outdoors.
Ah, yeah, fresh air.
Exactly. If you like physical activity, working with your hands, being out in the elements, this could be a good fit.
And you get to see the results of your work, like those crisp lines, contributing to safety.
Oh, absolutely. It's a job with a clear purpose, making roads safer for everyone.
That's got to be rewarding.
Definitely. And you're always learning, new equipment, new materials, staying up to date on those safety regulations.
So it's not a boring desk job.
No, not at all. Lots of variety.
But what about the downsides? I mean, there's got to be some challenges, right?
Right. It's important to be realistic. One of the biggest drawbacks is the weather.
Oh, yeah. You're out there, rain or shine.
Exactly. Rain, shine, heat, cold, you name it. It can be physically demanding, so you got to be in good shape.
And I imagine working near traffic, that's got to be a bit nerve-wracking.
It definitely can be. You got to be super vigilant, always aware of your surroundings, following those safety procedures to a T, no room for error.
Yeah, safety first for sure.
Yeah.
The guide also mentioned that advancement opportunities might be limited in some areas or companies.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes to move up, you might need to relocate or switch companies, especially if you're looking for leadership roles or more specialized work.
Okay, so something to keep in mind.
Definitely.
But overall, it sounds like a solid career path for someone who likes being hands-on, working outdoors, and making a difference in road safety.
I agree.
Now, you mentioned earlier that RoleCatcher's AI can help tailor resumes and cover letters.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to hear more about that. How does that work?
So imagine you upload your resume and a job description for a road marker position into RoleCatcher.
Okay.
The AI analyzes both documents, figures out what the employer is looking for, those keywords and skills, and then gives you suggestions on how to make your resume stand out.
So it's not just about catching typos. It's about understanding what the employer wants and making sure your resume reflects that.
Exactly. It helps you get noticed, increases your chances of getting an interview.
That's awesome. And you also mentioned AI-powered interview practice, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's like having a virtual interview coach. You can record yourself answering common questions, and the AI will give you feedback on everything, your delivery, content, body language, even your tone of voice.
Wow, that's impressive.
It helps you polish your presentation and build confidence.
Now, before we move on, I want to touch on something the career guide emphasized, the importance of continuous learning.
Oh, absolutely. Road marking's always evolving, new technologies, materials, safety regulations.
So you got to stay up to date.
You got to stay ahead of the curve. Attend workshops, take online courses, read industry publications, anything to keep learning and growing.
Makes you a more valuable asset.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, any other words of wisdom from the career guide that our listeners should remember?
Well, one thing that really jumped out at me was the emphasis on networking, building connections within the industry.
Oh, yeah, that's so important. It's not just what you know, but who you know,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, especially in this field.
But how can someone go about doing that, especially if they're just starting out?
Well, there's a few things you can do. Attending industry events, for one.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
Joining professional organizations, maybe even reaching out to some experienced road markers for informational interviews.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's all about expanding your network, learning from others who've been there.
And those connections, they can open doors to opportunities,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. And provide mentorship, guidance as you're figuring things out.
Okay, that's great advice. Now,
Yeah.
before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier, the importance of transferable skills.
Yeah, super important, especially if you don't have direct experience in road marking. Think about those core skills: attention to detail, precision, following instructions, safety awareness, problem solving, teamwork, communication.
Those are all valuable no matter what job you're doing.
Exactly. You can find examples of those skills in your past experiences, even if they weren't specifically related to road marking.
So don't be afraid to think outside the box a little bit.
Right, make those connections.
All right, let's summarize some key takeaways for our listener today. First and foremost, preparation is key.
Preparation, yep.
Study that job description. Research the company. Practice your answers to those common interview questions. And hey, use RoleCatcher's AI tools. Those can really help you refine your delivery and content.
That's right.
Second, be honest and authentic. Highlight your strengths, but also be upfront about areas where you're still learning. Enthusiasm and a willingness to learn, those go a long way.
Absolutely.
Third, use RoleCatcher. The AI can help optimize your resume, tailor your cover letter, and even get that personalized feedback on your interview skills. And finally, remember why you're pursuing this career.
Yeah, the what.
What excites you about being a road marker? What impact do you want to make?
That passion will shine through.
Exactly. Let it show in your interviews, your interactions. It makes a difference.
Definitely.
All right, before we say goodbye, one final thought. The next time you're driving and you see those crisp lines dividing the lanes, those bright crosswalks, those reflective cat eyes guiding you at night,
Yeah.
take a moment to appreciate the work of a road marker. It's a job that often goes unnoticed, but it's vital for keeping our roads safe and organized.
It really is.
And for those of you out there ready to take on this challenge, we believe in you. You've got the skills, you've got the drive. Go out there and make those roads safer.
And don't forget to check out the full career guide and interview guide on RoleCatcher.
Yes, so much great information there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We'll catch you next time.